Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. The Grant. My name is Niels Tudor Winter, and I'm the creator, editor, and host of The Grant. The Grant is an independent podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system on topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. First, if you are in Brussels Friday the 20th of June, you're invited to drop by Place du Luxembourg for the Grand Brussels meetup. I'll be there from 4 o'clock. Come for a drink and a chat with me and other The Grant listeners. Go to thegrant.eu for more information. Looking so much forward to see you. Now, this episode is part of my funding schemes category. Some time ago, my good old contact and regular guest, Ilaria Rudisi, gave us the introduction to the MSCA funding scheme. It is now time to have a look at proposal writing for the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions, and of course, Ilaria is the one to help us all with that. So she takes us through how to prepare the proposal writing, the exchange with the researcher, how to actually attack the pen-to-paper phase, and of course the submission. Great stuff for facilitators, research managers, and of course researchers. Please enjoy. The Grant. Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. Today, I will continue down the path of exploring the different funding schemes that are, or at least the most important ones, EU R&D funding. And we're going to have a look at the MSCA, and I will let my guest pronounce the full name of the of the funding scheme in a second. Today we're going to have a look at how to prepare proposals for that funding scheme. And welcome, Ilaria.
Good morning, Niels.
Yeah, good morning. It's rarely that I do recordings in the morning, but we do that. I have the opportunity now in Brussels.
Yes.
Family is in Spain, so you have the mornings to yourself.
Yes.
so it's 10:30 in the morning now. Eli, short introduction to yourself before we hit the road.
Okay, so I'm Ilaria. I'm a senior consultant on EU grants, and I work in Italy, and I run my own consultancy company that is named NAM Evolution, and I'm based near Milan, and I work with several organizations and also with researchers.
Yeah, and not only that, you also run a podcast.
Yes, of course. I forgot about that. Yes, but I also run my own podcast. Yeah.
Never forget about the podcast.
No. My podcast is Dinamica Europa, but is all in Italian.
It is.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to share yourself the upcoming news?
Yes, and I for this new season, my third season, I asked Niels to join me with one special episode, and so we let you know when this episode will be published.
Yeah, and that's in English. But
yes,
of course. So, but normally your podcast episodes the Italian for the Italian listeners here, because
yes.
Of course I have Italian listeners. Check it out.
Yes,
because
thank you.
It's exactly down the path that we're having here, and Ilaria, you're very good. So you'll definitely enjoy that. Now, Ilaria, today we are continuing our conversation around the MSCA funding scheme. And do you want to pronounce the full name of the funding scheme?
I will try. So it should be Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions. So maybe, we could talk about that.
It was easier when it was Marie Curie funding scheme, but she was Polish, so I understand our dear Polish yes. friends that they wanted to add her very Polish name into that as well. So yeah, that's that. Ilaria, we did a recording some time ago, released it on introducing the funding scheme.
Yes.
As my modus operandi on approaching the funding schemes, I have episode on the introduction, and then I have an episode on proposal preparation for that same funding scheme. And it follows a very generic rundown, so we will take it step by step. So this is for everybody out there. This is for you to have an audible instruction guide on how you can do this. And we will, of course, Ilaria will share tips and tricks on how she works with her clients when she's supporting on it. So short fly-in. General remarks about proposals on this funding scheme, Ilaria.
Okay, so when you work on Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions, so maybe it's better if we say MSCA. That is it's quite easy. So you have to focus on your project, and especially according to my experience, you have to analyze if your research proposal could bring a solution for the European Commission or for the European policies, because they are looking for strong impact proposal. And this is quite easier when you work in a scientific field. Is more difficult when you work on a humanistic field like social science, literature, because in that case it's very difficult to highlight the impact, for example, on research about ancient handbooks or maybe ancient literature. But of course, also this kind of proposal could you could also present this kind of proposal under Marie Skłodowska-Curie scheme. But of course, if you work in scientific field, it will be better, according to my opinion, to focus on the impact. So this is the first point to highlight. And then you have to I believe that before approaching Marie Curie, you have to try at least to validate your project idea. And it will be better, especially here in Italy, it works like that. I don't know how it works in other European countries, but here in Italy, it will be better if you are able to testify that maybe you have just try to implement a portion of your research proposal, research project, or maybe you have managed a team of researchers, because also these elements are evaluated when they assess your proposal to decide if they want to give you money or no. So this is I believe that these are two main points. And then if you get these 2 points and you have green light on that, then we could start talking about writing a Marie Curie proposal. Yeah, because sometimes it happens to me that some researcher believe that their research proposal is the best research proposal. But maybe they did not take in consideration some, for example, milestone, deliverables, and they have never tested this kind of research project. So it's better, in my opinion, if you can come to a consultant and say to us, yes, I have run a pilot test of my research proposal, because this is also important when it's important to tell this to the evaluator. Because when you run for a Marie Curie, you run for a huge competition with all the best researchers in the European Union, but not only in the European Union, because Marie Curie is open beyond the European Union. So also other researchers that maybe are working in other country can use Marie Curie as opportunity to come back to the European Union and European universities. So this is my short fly-in, because I believe that before evaluate to start working on a specific grant proposal, you need some elements. And if you do not have these elements, it's better maybe to wait the next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe also a general fly-in is that this is not a collaborative project.
No, yeah, this is very important because this is not a collaborative project. This is a project that focuses on principal investigator. So is your research proposal, and of course you need an agreement with an hosting institution. That could be a university or a research center. So this is also another element to take in account if you have this kind of agreement or not.
Yeah, so here you take out the very rough and tough work of collecting a partnership.
Yes.
Consortium building is out.
Yeah, and
it's out of this podcast block segment, until we don't have to talk about that because that's not part of it.
Yeah, and another consideration, if you would apply for a global fellowship, so for Marie Curie Global Fellowship, you have also to provide an agreement with an hosting institution in another country that is not your resident country. So, for example, if you work as a researcher in Germany, you have also to spend 6 to 1 year in another European country, for example, Spain. And so this means that you have to deal 2 agreements, one with your permanent hosting institution and with also another hosting institution that can host you during mobility time. Yeah.
Mm.
So you need a lot of preparatory work. So if you decide to work on Marie Curie, it's better if you start working on that at least 1 year before the deadline, because you need time. Yeah.
So that's a very nice bridge into the first segment, and that's about the preparation.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned the first thing when in your planning. So 1 year before deadline, and it's more or less fixed when the application date is there. No, the call date.
Yes.
Deadline.
Yeah.
So you can plan ahead.
Yes, because generally the Marie Curie open in around April each year and close around mid-September each year. So but of course you can decide it now that we are in April 2025 to work for a Marie Curie on this year deadline. Maybe this could be useful if you already tried last year and maybe you did not succeed, and of course you have a ready proposal, a ready agreement, and of course 5 months are enough time to review your proposal, to assess the technical elements, and to integrate the evaluator consideration. But if you have a white page, my suggestion is to wait 2026.
Researchers never have a white page.
Yeah, no, I know.
But I know exactly what you mean.
I know, but sometimes even if is not a white page, is a written page that need a lot of review, and so it's not so common that a proposal is ready to go on a European grants. Yeah.
No, I have put here some sub-bullets, but you probably have your own sub-bullets in your preparation. So, but first, collaboration set up with the researcher. How do you work with them in the preparation?
So generally, when once a researcher asks me to work together, I ask them to receive their proposal because I want to read their project. Because it depends if they are starter researcher or more advanced researcher. Because sometimes if they are at early stage of their career, of course they don't know that they also need technical elements like work packages, Gantt, milestone, deliverables. So I need to assess I need to assess the proposal also to understand how much work I have to do with them. And then after I read the proposal, I can estimate how much hour we have to work together, and agree with the researcher on how we will work together. So generally, in some case, my first action is to put some comments on their project to say maybe here is better to explain these topics, because sometimes it happens that researchers write their proposal and believe that is very clear and you can understand everything that is inside, but sometimes it's not like that. So I try to explain them that the evaluator read a lot of proposal, and so you should be very clear and very concise about your idea, because you have to help the evaluator assess your proposal, and the evaluator should not struggle in your text, but you have to guide the evaluator. So we start in this way. So the researcher works on the first review, then they send me back their test, and they put also some comments, and meanwhile I take care of technical side. So I prepare Gantt, I suggest milestone, deliverable, and I suggest also work package and task, because sometimes researchers just write, but not. And we have only 14 pages, and so yeah, I also suggest maybe it's better to cut this topic.
That's nice.
Yeah,
14 pages, but it's also it's nice, but it's also very difficult.
Yes, it's very difficult because we have to prefer technical writing than scientific writing. And sometimes there is a struggle, because sometimes I remember that I said, okay, we have also to put a Gantt inside the proposal. And they said to me, the researcher said to me, no, I don't want, because I want space to write my idea. I say, yes, okay, but we need to provide this kind of chart. And then we agree, and I realized the Gantt on Excel, and then we transform it in images so we can fix and cite the space.
The visuals.
Yeah. Yeah, because they just... when you I'm talking about the researcher that maybe are listening this episode, you are asking a lot of money. So yes, of course, research methodology, research proposal is important, but the evaluator wants to know that you will be able to manage this amount of money, and that you have set milestone, deliverable, and which will be the result that they are founding. Because of course, is research, and it's not so easy sometimes to secure output, but you have to merge research writing with technical writing.
In other words, understandable English.
Yes.
And that's, well, the academic community, they actually know of the concept, because it's to be able to write so academics can understand it, academics from other fields, so to say. So you don't have to write to the common man. That's not what it is. It's a matter of stepping out of a sometimes very technical and detailed research subject, and take away the things that even other academics from technical academics will not understand without having training, so to say. So you need to that for some researchers is more difficult than others, but this is a matter of capacities and communication. I guess that's where you help.
And communication is everything about grant writing. So you have to be very strategic when you communicate your idea. And then when we finish the first draft, then we focus on keywords and abstract, because keywords and abstract are very strategical in this kind of proposal. So I analyze all the keywords, and I suggest a list of keywords to the researcher. And then sometimes it's easy to find the proper one, and sometimes it wasn't so easy. So we try to select the keywords more similar to the field, because especially if there are interdisciplinary proposal, proposal. Sometimes could be tricky to identify the proper field or the proper evaluation panel, but also keyword. It's very important because keywords match with the right evaluator. So
I remember from the other episode recorded. So keywords. Do you? So basically. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. I just want to add some things about keyword, because this is all about experience. Because sometimes maybe if in the research proposal there is also the use of EI, maybe the researcher wants to select EI, but you have to select keyword EI only if your proposal is on EI, not only if you use EI as tools. So I try to advise at most as possible about keywords, but sometimes they want to proceed in their way, and so I'm a consultant. I give my advice, of course.
We'll get back to. But I'm probably going to forget it if I don't mention it. So here is a psychological element, right? Because you don't have a consortium of partners where if you have someone that doesn't agree or I don't want, then there's a sort of a group. There's a social.
Yes.
The social coach step into your helping hand to make sure that nobody acts out or okay, then we agree on this, But here they don't. They only sit in front of, either they do it themselves and they sit with a research manager, or they sit with you as a consultant and say, no, I don't want.
But because here in Italy it's not so common to have the research manager inside university, and maybe sometimes the senior researcher, senior professor they are a research manager, but here in Italy it's very common that they ask for external consultant for help in writing proposal. Because of course there are researcher office inside each research institution, university, but is one research officer for the entire staff of the university, and so they cannot, of course, assist everyone.
I've had some of them, actually Italian research managers, into this podcast, so I
understand. I know.
Thank you. So basically, in relation to, if you talk about preparation and the relationship with the researcher to support, so this is for you out there if you're a research manager or consultant helping. So here it's basic in leveling expectations. That's it.
But
it's all of this is a matter of making the applicant understand what's the frame, and how do we do that best within this frame.
And sometimes I agree with you, but sometimes especially if they are early level researcher, they are really struggle with the panic to not secure money, because I know that maybe some other guests of your podcast has talked about that, but here in Italy research has not so much money. So sometimes secure a grant like Marie Curie or ARC, it also means stay in the university.
So
you have also to struggle with this psychological side. And I believe that I'm quite good about that, because I believe I have also personal skills, and I work a lot also on myself, so I can try to assess and sustain, but sometimes it's very difficult to balance these two sides. So my professional role with also, we are human, so of course psychology and personal personal frameworks come in this work. So sometimes it's happened to me also to support, to say okay, we are on the right way, so we have to fix this side of the proposal. So but we are human, so we are technician, but we are also human.
It's also that's also why it's a very different relationship for this funding scheme than for the collaborative proposal support for consultants. Here it's a one-on-one psychology, and which is different from person to person simply.
Yeah, but it depends, because also in collaborative grants, it depends which kind of consortium there is, and so yeah.
All right, here I put, and this is a generic rundown, my dear listeners. So it's I try to follow a certain schematic approach. So everybody who knows my podcast knows that I follow I have the same segments when I work with presenting the different funding schemes. So here I have under preparation also how do you organize your own work as a support organizer?
Okay, it depends according to the researcher and the level of the proposal content, because I works only on drafted proposal, so I never start to write from zero a proposal. So I want to receive a draft of the proposal, so it depends on the stage of the proposal, because maybe sometimes I'm only just an external auditor. So I said, okay, you have to fix here, you have to improve this section. Maybe it's better if you explain these topics here and not in this segment. And I suggest about keywords, or this is very common. I have to fix curriculum, because sometimes curriculum is a real mess, and you have also to attach your curriculum, and sometimes they are very long curriculum, 10, 20 page. No, you have to be strategic, and you have to put in your curriculum just the publication related to the proposal you submit in Marie Curie. And so it depends. And sometimes there are a lot of review, sometimes there are less reviews. So I don't have a fixed scheme, because I try to adjust my work according to the state of the proposal and also according to the research needs, because each researcher has different needs, and it depends also, of course, here in Marie Curie, they are early stage researcher, but sometimes there are researchers that are more experienced than other, even if they are early stage. So I try to adjust my work to their needs and to stay more flexible as possible. But there is one rule. I want to submit at least 5 days before the deadline, because I want to avoid a technical issue on funding and tenders, because we work a lot of months, and I don't want to stay here until the last minute, because maybe they want to put some minor changes. And this is sometimes where I should be very rigid, because they want to change until last minute and say no. Okay, and I also put this in my agreement. My consultancy agreement, there is this statement that, yes.
Excellent.
No, yes. Yeah.
Now, I also just shortly want to hear, do you, I guess you're an experienced consultant, Ilaria, so you probably have templates, folder system, your own sort of, maybe you have your own schematic way of your own, like proposal, proposal timeline, how you do things, or...
Yeah, so for the proposal, we use the template provided by the European Commission, and we share on Google Drive, so we can work together. And for the administrative section, I need to collect some information. So I recreate the template, because of course the template is an electronic template, and you can access tweet only on funding and tenders. So I recreate this section in a shared Excel. So the researcher, but especially the administrative office of the university can fill in all the information like department, contact person, like a researcher ID for the publication. And I have also my own template for the budget because, we have, of course, the official templates by the European Commission, but we need to work on a different template. So I have my own Excel budget template where we can collect all the number. We can make some exercise to adjust the amount. And we have here in Italy, you have also to talk with administrative office. And so my budget template is very useful because sometimes, as regards personnel cost, there is no issue because they are established by the university. But if you have maybe equipment or communication and dissemination, it's very useful to start working with this template, because in this way also the researcher understand that you need to put numbers as real as possible. So maybe you have also to ask quotation, and so this is also a matter because you have to start at least 1 year before, because maybe in some research project, also Marie Curie, maybe you want to release data, you want to release a data sheet, or you want to release a very informative website, and this means money, and you need to know how much money it needs. So you have to talk with the companies that could develop this website. And you have also I have a specialization in administrative law because before starting in this work, I work as administrative lawyer. So I also work with the researcher to let them understand that you work in public sector. So if you want to work with an external provider, there are procedures. So I also put this in my work with researchers, so we understand which kind of agreement, we understand how much will cost, for example, website, or if you work in scientific field, how much will cost, for example, samples or laboratories testing. So you need to approach all these elements. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next segment. So before we move into the main section of how to actually attack the proposal pen to paper, we just have a short talk about shaping the proposal concept with the researcher. So
yes,
normally I have this in for people because it's normally quite a big element in collaborative projects, shaping the concept before you can start to write. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's probably the same here. So concept maturing, you already been exchanging a little bit with me now on that you want them to make an abstract and so on. But do you go into, like having brainstorms or sort of having work, like workshop meetings with the researcher? How do you do this?
As I said before, I start reading their proposal, and then we organize an online meeting. And I explain the researcher what it's not so much clear and which kind of fields they have to improve. And we brainstorm about how to deep the proposal, because sometimes, especially on Marie Curie, they are very young researcher.
Yeah.
So they maybe they don't know that they have to provide more information And maybe sometimes they put, we do some research about a specific topic. Okay, yeah, but you have to provide methodology. So you have to explain all the tasks that you will involve. You have to express your pathway. And so we brainstorm about that. And sometimes I try to also to help them. Maybe I put some input. I suggest them some papers to read, or maybe I suggest also them to assess about other projects that are,
So you actually go into supporting also content.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more easier, of course, if we are in a social field like literature, philosophy, because I work also with on medical field, and of course there I don't have I can't help with technicality,
No,
but
in
that case. I work with I work on on proposal in life science, and I just said, okay, it's not so much clear if I read as an external reader. It's not so much clear, and they really improved the storytelling of their proposal. Yeah, so also here it depends on the specific field. Yeah, but because in my opinion, I am a consultant, but it's not my research project. It's not my proposal. So my role, of course, is to advise, to give my consultants, but it's their own project, and it's better if they understand when they are writing their projects that maybe they have to improve it, because maybe you need sometimes during our brainstormings. We realize that that kind of proposal, that kind of project needs more time, because maybe you don't consider some elements. And it's very important for me to have these preliminary brainstorming, because I don't want to maybe work for 2-3 months and then realize that we need more time. So it's better if we assess these at the beginning of our work together.
So is it frequent that you, in this process, stop it?
No, it's not so much frequent, but it happened.
Yeah, because this is what you just said. It's vital, not only for you as a consultant, right? But it's for themselves. You know, it's their career. Yeah, it's their research career is often reliant on these grants, because it provides them with a grant for 2-3 years, sometimes 4 years, and so it's if they get it right,
yes,
just because they're looking at the funding,
and yes, and sometimes it's better to understand that your proposal is not ready, because maybe you could be lucky and you could secure funds, but then you have project implementation, and maybe you can face some issue in the project implementation phase if the proposal is not ready enough.
Can you unfold a little bit, maybe for researchers to understand what are go, no go? You know, do you understand what I mean? Where it's absolutely vital in this part of the process to have a reflected and clear mind, and not be super focused on I want the grant. So what is key here, Ilaria?
Okay, I will try, because I believe it could be very difficult for a research to understand this point, because they are so focused on their research project, that they really believe that is the best research project. So I really suggest, and not because is my work for sure, but ask maybe to your colleague to read your proposal, ask to a consultant, because so you can have an external point of view. And then maybe if you have an external point of view, you can start to reflect about your proposal. So I don't have a specific advice to share, but my advice is don't be afraid to share your project as to your colleague, as to a consultant, because sometimes they are so afraid to share their idea they never put their idea in discussion. And if you don't put your idea in discussion, but this is a common concept when you work on a project, you really believe that it's the best project in the world, then you need external point of view, and you have to put in discussion your own idea. Yeah,
of course. And here the academic world, the academic community is working against itself, because it's very competitive.
Yes.
Of course, the universities, the public research, that's not just Southern Europe. It's everywhere like this. They struggle to get funds for their own reason. It's fierce sometimes. It's like Paradise Hotel without without the fornication. So it's what you get of intrigues and horrible snake behavior, a worm pit in the academic field sometimes, because they are so afraid of their own research field. This is what is working, of course, against being open. But I would say the same as you. That find someone you trust that within your field.
Yes.
That has someone who has done this themselves. That's the best. A researcher who has been through this whole process themselves and understand your field to the extent, maybe not exactly the same field, but understands what you're working with, and let them have a view on it. Maybe you can get to read their proposal.
Yeah.
They're winning.
And here I want to add some things, because sometimes it happens that the researcher lets someone else read their proposal, and maybe this someone else has already secured some funds. Mm-hmm. So he or she starts to give advice, and they say, no, okay, but he won funds 10 years ago, and so the things change, and we can work in this way. So the scheme is changed. The evaluator wants other kind of projects. So sometimes it's very tricky, and but this is my job to face all this trouble that I can face on my way. This is very common for me. But the administrative office has said to me, yes, okay, but it's not true. Here is the rule. Okay. Okay.
All right. Ilaria, we have a long segment ahead of us, the next one. Well, normally it's long. We'll see. We'll take it step by step. And that is the now we move into pen to paper segment, as I call it, when you start to actually going into the actual writing phase. And what I do, Ilaria, is that I get my guest to take the proposal step by step.
Okay.
But before we do that, there's some bullets here that I normally check before we start going through the actual template. And so this is why it can sometimes be a little long. But it's like this. It's important for me that it's instructive and that everything is commented. So everybody who sits and work with this can go through this episode and see, okay, now we have reached to how the implementation section, the dissemination, the impact, and so on. So, but we start with having talking a little bit about how you organize the actual writing process with the researcher.
Okay. So I establish an internal Gantt. So we define internal deadline. So we start here that day. Within that day, I need to receive the first draft revised. Then I read it, I put some comments, and so we work like that. until the deadline, but as I said before, not until the deadline, but at least until 5 days before the deadline. And as I said before, I try to stay more flexible as possible. So of course we need an internal timeline. We need to put internal milestone to write the proposal. But of course, I don't want to be a problematic consultant, so I try to stay with them and to adapt my own work to their needs. And but of course, as I said before, we need the rules, so it's always a balance between these two sides. But we proceed with an internal timeline, and I just I try to leave the researcher only to take care of the proposal, while I will take care on all the other side, like budget, administrative information. So I will talk directly with administrative office, so I can collect all the information. And in this way, they could only focus on writing their proposal. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not, but I guess, understood. But I guess that as you move to more submission and you start to get the descriptions from them.
Yes.
Then you write it through.
No, generally, my work is just when I work on researcher field, I work as external auditor or reviewer. So they write their own content. And of course, if there is the Gantt, I will take care of that, and I will suggest task, milestone. But I create this kind of relationship where I am your consultant, but is your proposal. So I don't want to write their milestone or their task, because I believe it doesn't work, because then they have to implement the project alone. So I want that they really understand which are the elements that we could really put in the proposal. So I don't want to define some technicalities alone, or just because it could get an higher point. I discuss everything with them, but I always ask from researcher inputs. This is my own methodology. I don't know if it's right or not.
No, but it makes sense. Because for collaborative projects, it's much more complex, it's longer, and it's more complex written text, right? So there it's important that you have, of course you have there the same discourse, that the technicalities of description of the excellence part, state of the art, that's, but there in those proposals, it's important that you write it through to make sure that there's a red thread throughout the whole document. So, but here, first of all, it's shorter. Second, it's one person. Yeah?
Yes.
It's their project. It's not a group. It's them. It's that person's own project. So it's important that they take responsibility themselves and understand. Because that's the problem with big collaborative projects. Not all partners understand all elements of the big project, because some of them are only parts in corners of some work packages. Here, it is one person is everything in relation to that needs to be carried out. So it makes sense in that respect that they understand what is a milestone, what is a deliverable. I have defined myself the deliverable. It's not something that I suddenly realize 2/3 into the project. I have to hand over a report on LCA, whatever. That they themselves are fully one-to-one, so to say, with the work they have to carry out. They did it. Yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah. And this is my methodology, but I try also to approach in this way on collaborative grant, because in the last month I saw a lot of mistake on big project where partner, as you said before, does not really know what they have to do. And so this is crazy for me. So especially in this case that we have principal investigator, you have to know what you have to do, and we can decide together. I can make suggestions. For example, maybe here is better to release a report, or maybe here is better to release another kind of deliverable or outputs. Yes, but they know their research and they know if it's possible or not, because sometimes maybe I don't want to risk that they just accept my advice, but it's not a proper advice for their specific project. And I work on different kind of proposal, and we go from Greek literature to philosophy to life science. So of course, we have to customize but starting from their project.
That's life as an independent consultant.
Yes, but I really like it because I don't get never bored about that.
No. Bored, Okay, let's. Now I have a sub question here about which are the most difficult sections, but maybe we go through the sections first, and then you can share with us afterwards which of them are tricky to deal with and how to deal with now. So first. Now, these are generic bullets I have here on the sections. They might be wrong, but so maybe you take it from here on. What are the sections in the template? And what should you be aware of in each of the templates? So you have the written parts, and then you have the budget, and then you have specifically for MSCA, you have also the curriculum,
Yes.
Good. But you take it from here now because you're the expert.
Okay. Just take me a minute that I will look at the real template.
Of course. All my guests do that. They sit with the template and then, so it's just fine.
Okay, here I am. Okay. So let's start with B1, that is the proposal. So we have excellence section. And in this section, you have to provide the evaluator information about quality of the project research and innovation. Innovation is very crucial information to provide, because they don't want to fund every research proposal, but they want to stimulate innovation inside the European Union. So I really suggest to take some time to at first understand if there is innovation in your project, and considering that we have only 14 pages, you have also to choose which information give more space than other. And so innovation is the first one. Then you have to provide information about methodology. And methodology means technicalities. So you don't have just to storytell, I will work in this way. No, you have to be more precise about during the first month of the project, we will do that. During the second, we will do that. We will approach this task, which will be your research methodology, because of course there are different research methodology, and you have to provide information about that. And also maybe if you have to assess specific information or specific archive, or maybe you need some tools like EI or some database. Of course, you have also to provide to the evaluator information about on how you will secure these kinds of tools that are fundamental to achieve your goal. And then we are in a Marie Curie scheme. So of course you are the principal investigator, but you are in a early stage. So you have a supervisor, And you have also to describe in this point of the proposal how you will relate, how will be the relation with your supervisor. So how many meetings there will be with your supervisor, how the supervisor could advise you in your work, and maybe which will be the role of the supervisor. And of course, now I cannot provide all the details of section because we need 4 hours if I go that. And then it's the time of your professional experience. So this is the reason why at the beginning of this podcast, I said that is better to approach a Marie Curie if you have a little bit of experience in managed team, or maybe in a supervisor, some PhD, or run a small research project, because if you don't have this kind of experience, you don't know how to write in this section. Mm-hmm. So Marie Curie is not for everyone. Yeah, you have to evaluate this point. Then we have the section 2, that is impact section. And this is Marie Curie, and it's a little bit different from other research scheme. And this is why you have to describe how implement a Marie Curie project will impact on your career. So how the Marie Curie could help you to improve your career as European Union researcher, and of course sustainability of your project, because I believe we have to say that then we are deal with money, with public money. They want to be sure that they will do the right investment. This is, I don't know if there is a lot, it's too much transparent, but is here.
Let me make it transparent. Look, any research out there, you cannot piss away public money just because you want to do your research. It's very simple.
Yes.
You need to justify very solidly why public money should be spent on what you want to do. And if you cannot, then taxpayers should not pay for your research. It's very simple.
Yes. And so, as I said before, it could be more easier in life science because, of course, maybe I take care of patient and I create a new treatment, and a little bit difficult in social science. But you have to improve the state of art in the European Union, and your output could be very useful, for example, also for policymakers or for other, but you need to provide information about the impact. And of course, the European Commission wants that everyone, except maybe everyone in the research field, knows that you receive public money. So dissemination has a crucial role. And of course, in research is very easier because you can take part to conference, to workshop, and you can publish on scientific, I forgot how to say in English.
Scientific journals?
Journals, thank you, sorry.
Sure.
Sorry. Scientific journal. It's easier, but please take also in consideration digital communication, because your project is not only for academic or research field, but one of the priority of the European Commission in the last year is also to involve the citizen. So of course you have tried to explain your research result to citizen. Is not so easy, but there are of course expert that you could involve, like a scientific communicator, specialized agency that could help you also to explore this side. And so this is the this was the second section, impact. And then we have the third and the last section of B1, that is quality. So quality, we talk about work package. So you have to imagine your project as a big box. And inside this big box, there are small boxes that are the work packages. And all these work packages involve some specific activities to achieve specific objective. And at the end, of course, when you fulfill each work packages, you achieve the project goal. And you have also to think about risk, and so risk assessment. And this is generally a section that I take care of this section because it's a very technical section, but you have to think about all the risk that you could face during your research. So maybe you can have some trouble to collect some materials, or maybe if you are working in life science, of course, you are working in life science, so some test could go wrong, or maybe some sample could be damaged. And you have also to think about all these scenarios when you write your proposal. And more information you provide about that, you will gain a higher score, because you could demonstrate that you really work on your project and you really think on all the details of your project. And then we will have a host institution. So you have also to describe the quality of your host institution, because maybe you need access to specific technologies, specific tools, or scientific labs. And so you have to inform the evaluator if you have at your disposal laboratories, tools, and if you don't have, my suggestion is maybe to find another hosting institution, because of course, if you don't have instrument, you could never succeed in your research.
Mm-hmm. I think what you said before about the contingency, plan B, C, D, E. Yeah, that's it's very important what you said there, and it's also very important what you said that this is. Not only is it related to the hard facts, the points, you get more points if you show an overview, but what this is that the more you are able to perceive different scenarios that can happen that would take it off the path, the planned path, it shows your understanding.
Yes.
360-degree understanding of your research field.
Yes.
So you don't paint any rosy pictures. You don't paint any Monet paintings in glossy colors. Hard facts about what are the criticalities related to carrying your work out. That's that alone can win you the grant.
Yeah, and maybe we can share an example.
Sure.
One last year or maybe 2 years ago, I work on a marine biology project, and of course they have to work in open sea. And open sea means some criticalities, like you have to take into account weather, you have to take into account rough sea, and of course we have to provide all this information in risk assessment, because it means that you have really evaluate each details, because of course this means also that maybe you have to postpone some activities, because if you cannot collect the sample, you have to postpone some activities. So yeah, this is the level of the details that you need, not only Marie Curie, but in each proposal. Yeah,
and it's different from each research area.
Yes.
Now this marine, it's obvious. Yeah, you have the weather is a factor.
Yeah, of course.
That can change everything. Your research equipment get destroyed or whatever. If it's about Greek philosophy, it's something else.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe now we can move on. We finished B1, so we can maybe move on B2.
Yeah.
So B2 is curriculum of researcher and curriculum of the hosting institution. So for the curriculum of the researcher, you have 5 pages. So my suggestion is to maybe you have a lot of publication, but you don't have to put all your publication inside the curriculum, but just select the publication that are strictly related with your proposal. And of course, you have also to put a focus on professional experience. And if you are applying for the global fellowship, where there is also visiting activities, of course, is my suggestion is to put in the curriculum if you have already some visiting activities. And then you are, here is the publication section. And of course, is strategically to insert in your CV also your dissemination activities. So participation in seminaries or conferences as, of course, invited speakers, not just because you participated in an international conferences, yes, as a speaker, of course. And of course, if you have award some fellowship or some grants, and then you have also to provide some information about your hosting institution, as I said before, which information about your supervisor, so experience of your supervisor related to the topic of your research, and if you have access to key facilities. And also you have to provide information if your supervisor has already been involved in EU-funded project. Of course, this is not mandatory, but extra point. Yeah. And this is the Marie Curie, but if you apply for the global, you have to provide both twice time information. So hosting institution and also hosting institution that will host you during visiting period, because in global fellowship it's mandatory to take 6 to 12 months visiting period in another institution.
Actually, a point we should maybe make for the listeners, because you have different categories of MSCA. So the template you go through now, does that apply to all 4 of them?
Yes, it's the same, but if you apply for the global fellowship, you have just to provide information. The information that you provide for your hosting institution, you have also to provide for the hosting institution where you will spend your visiting period. So the template is the same. Yeah.
Okay.
And also the budget, and also B1 administrative form. If you apply for the global, you have just to add extra information about the institution where you will spend your visiting activities.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And for luckily there are not 2 different templates.
Yeah, good. All right.
Yeah.
So curriculum, was that it about that section?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we finished about curriculum. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have the administrative form, and this is some things about what the researchers are very scared, because they are scared about bureaucracy. But don't panic, because generally when I work as consultants, I will take care of this administrative form. And we have general information like keyword, research panel, abstract. And of course, you have to provide the content information of your hosting institution. So generally is one of the administrative team, because they manage all the relation with the European Commission. And then you have also to provide your researcher ID. So researcher ID is the code that you put in all your publications. So maybe I don't know, but maybe if the evaluator wants to assess all your publication with this ID, could collect all your publication, then you have to provide information about 5 projects that you implement at 5 publications. So of course, in your curriculum, you can provide more details, but here in the administrative form, you have to select only 5 publication and only 5 projects you work on.
It sounds like Horizon, other parts of Horizon.
Yes. Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah. And then there is also ethics and security. And for the ethics and security, I guide the researcher, and of course, not all the project related with ethics and security depends on the research topics. And there is a specific guide of the European Commission that help you to assess these points. So is a quite a long guide because it's 60 page. But there are specific questions that you read the question, you try to ask the question, and if the answer is yes, you have to provide information about how you deal with ethics, and especially if you involved people in your maybe test, or maybe if you collect data outside the European Union. So maybe just be aware that there is ethic assessment and security assessment. And I don't believe that now we have to go in details, but also take in mind that, because sometimes it's a little bit surprising for a researcher to need to provide this information, and sometimes ethics assessment could take some time because a researcher has never thought about that. So we need to collect all the information. We need I work on a project where the researcher wants to interview some citizen. And of course, you have to provide information about citizen consent, about the treatment of the data. And it was a paid interview. So you have also to provide information on how you will select participants. So writing the research proposal, so B1 is the easier work, in my opinion. But B2, so curriculum and ethical assessment and budget, of course, can take a lot of time. And also here in the administrative form is also the section where you provide information about budget, so how much money you will ask for your project.
And maybe now that's always in all proposal preparation processes, that's where the game gets hard, when you start to work on the budget. But here you don't have to fight over budget with other partners, so that's the easy element here. But now I guess for you as a consultant, you need to balance expectations, I guess, when you sit and do the budget.
And so of course in Marie Curie the budget is quite strictly because some elements of the budget are calculated from the system. So you have you define the country where you will implement your research project, and then define how much months. So 24, 12, for example, and then the platform will define your living allowance, your mobility allowance, and if maybe you have children or you are married, you can also receive family allowance. And this is the Marie Curie scheme. If you apply for a global Marie Curie, you have also I was making a mistake. Plus family allowance, you of course receive also research, training and networking cost, and management and indirect costs. So but I suggest, even if the budget is calculated in this way, I suggest to work on Excel budget, because you really need to understand how much will cost your research activities in order to understand if the money will be enough, or if you have to maybe cut some task, because if you don't have enough money and you realize that during project implementation you will be in a very big trouble.
Yeah.
So this is the official budget, but beyond the official budget, you always need your working budget, because I'm really focused on this point, because I need that you need to know the list of costs. And because sometimes maybe I realized that researcher did not know this, because I read about supersonic website with a lot of tools and I say, okay, but a website like that could cost around 100,000 euro, no, okay, maybe we have to define another way for the dissemination. If you hire an agency, it could cost 20,000 to 100 euro, because maybe they know only about academic costs, so personnel costs, but you need to know about everything. So this is why I always work with my Excel. There is the official budget and we all agree about that, but we need to look in the eyes numbers of your project, because each task of your project has a cost, and you have to know if the money will be enough or not.
It is. This is why I mentioned it. That the budget, the money, it's vital that you get your head around how it works, because it's also a matter of understanding how a funded project works if you haven't tried that before. So what is real money in your account, and what is it's
and here we are on Marie Curie, so it is very common, because we are working with early stage researcher, and of course if you work on ARC advanced grant, you don't have to explain this kind of details, but also because maybe they are custom that university cover their cost, but here are project cost. So if you travel, for example, to a conference, you need to know how much will cost the flight, how much will cost the hotel. And so in this way you can put 3 conferences inside the project, and maybe at the beginning they put 5 and they say, no, okay, we need to cut something, because you will receive this amount of money, and this amount of money should be enough, so we need to cut extra cost.
Is that it about budget?
Yes.
Anything else? Any more sections we need to cover? Is that it?
No. I believe we share a lot of details
but that's good.
And suggestions.
That's what I need, and that's what my listeners they need.
Yes.
Ilaria, before we move into the last section, the submission and the toughest challenge, just we would, or I would like to do, as I try with all my funding scheme episodes, also to have an implementation episode. Now, do you think that you would be able to get one of your clients that has carried out a MSCA project, so invite them in to this podcast and share how they have been carrying?
I have to ask, because here in Italy could be a little bit tricky, because maybe you have to relate it also to the hosting institution. So we could try about that. Yeah.
See if it's possible, because I would like to do this, but if you have someone that is obvious, then that's fine. Otherwise, I'll see through other channels. But it's because it's very nice to have a concrete, to see how do you actually implement what happened exactly with what we just talked about. Yeah? How is the budget in real life? So what happened? So how is it? They had to be aware of reporting periods. How much they spend within each what to keep a track on the different work packages, budgets, and so on and so forth. So those are things that I would like to have in a separate episode. All right, now final segment here: submission.
Okay. Yeah, at the end, the submission will be very easy, because I really love Founding and Tenders portal, because I'm Italian, so I struggle every day with foundation system, Italian minister system, and when you work on Founding and Tender portal, everything is so easy. So basically, when you are ready with your B1 and B2, you have to transform it in a PDF file, and you upload it on your founding and tender section. So maybe I can explain all the procedure, because maybe someone does not know who is founding and tender. So Founding and Tender is the official webgate of the European Commission, where you submit all the proposal under EU program. So if you want to submit a proposal under Marie Curie, you have to create, you have to log in Founding and Tender, you have to create your own section, and you have also to collect information from your hosting institution, but these are technicality that generally will be considered by consultants. So the information is that you need to work on Founding and Tenders, and you create your application, and then you collect you upload B1 and B2, and you fill all the information in administrative form. That is an electronical an electronical template. So you have to work on administrative form only on the platform. You can download it and work on your computer. No, you have to work on it in the platform, and then when you are ready, you just press submit button, and the game is done.
Yeah, it's I have and that's important in these episodes that I refer to, that I make the timeline series, which is my step-by-step guide to submitting preparing proposals within Horizon Europe Pillar 2, because that's what I did myself. So there I also give input on the platform. But indeed, you need to. It works nice, but you need to get familiar with how the functionality is in there. They are, and for instance, the submission part. When you submit, you validate what you have put into the platform, and then it comes out with with what still needs to be done.
Of course.
And I recommend, just like Ilaria here, that do it in advance, make a test submission. You can always override that, because then you get all your, because the first time I did this, let me just be very clear on this, the first time I submitted, but shit, they also need this and they need that. What's that red light, and I was not in well enough yet. I was very, very stressed towards the call deadline. So I would say 5 days is a very nice time for yourself to understand the red lights, because it doesn't take that long actually to fix them, because there are a lot of administrative parts in the A form, so things where you need to tick in boxes and to get that out of the way. So you don't have it distracting you with the last work you need to do on the content.
And I forgot a very important information. You don't have only to upload B1 and B2, but of course you have also to upload agreement with hosting institution, because hosting institution has to provide a signed agreement where the hosting institution take the responsibility to let the researcher implement the project researcher inside the hosting institution. So this is mandatory, and if you don't upload the agreement with the hosting institution, your application won't be processed.
Yeah, but I guess is it possible to submit it without that?
No, because the system block you. Yeah. And so but my suggestion is to, if you don't have an external consultant, ask help from your researcher officer, because it's better to work on founding and tenders if you really know how founding and tenders works, and especially how it works the administrative form, because, for example, you have always to save if you don't want to lose details. So my suggestion is for the researcher, just focus on your proposal, and then hire a consultant or ask inside your university to get assistance on application, on submission process, on the administrative form, because I'm afraid that if a researcher will take care of all of these, it will be so much.
Yeah. One last thing before we end up, actually forgot to ask you in the pen to paper section. Do you use ChatGPT or any artificial intelligence in support of your work with developing the proposal?
Yes, I use ChatGPT as tools for my work, and I also realize when the researcher has used ChatGPT, because sometimes they never change the layout. So. And there is also a guide from the European Commission to use AI in a research proposal. So it should be already in the home page of Founding and Tenders portal, or maybe just if you Google that research in AI proposal by the European Commission, you will find it in a very easy way. Yes, I believe that it's very useful to use AI, but AI is an instrument of our works. You need your mind.
It's
because we take a strong risk, that is that, yes, of course, ChatGPT is perfectly able to write a proposal, but is not your proposal. And then you have to implement it and all the things we have said before.
The discourse of this podcast and in the editorial office of the grant, our opinion is that ChatGPT is a fantastic instrument, but use it as an instrument. Use it as a tool.
Yes.
Use it as a brainstorm instrument. Use it as something to structure. Give logical sense to what you do, and so on and so forth, to make your descriptions more clear, but do not use it as someone that does your work. Never perceive it like that.
Or maybe it could also be useful to create project acronyms, because maybe you are struggle about project title, project acronyms, or maybe I use it when I need to summarize, because sometimes, especially I works on other funding scheme, and on other funding scheme, maybe you have 200,000 characters and you say, how I can write in so small space, write a more longer WhatsApp. And so, maybe it's better to help you to summarize, because maybe if you have 500,000 characters and you have to reduce to 200,000, it's better to ask an advice. But of course, is an instrument. As we start working with computer 50 years ago, now we work with AI, but I'm afraid about that, because especially here in Italy, there is some market about write your proposal with ChatGPT. I'm not sure that will work. No. Because then you have project implementation and you deal with public money. That means responsibility.
But that's the issue. It's if you just do it like this, if you use it too much, then it's going to create something that you don't even are fully aware of yourself that you need to implement, that you promised you have to do. That's no.
Because sometimes it happens to me to read very unrealistic goals or deliverable or a KPI, and they said, sorry, but this KPI is almost impossible to reach. Okay, but then if you write in the project, you have to reach that KPI.
Exactly. No, Ilaria, thanks. That's it.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we just have the last segment here, the toughest challenge. The Grant. So what is the toughest challenge in developing MSCA proposals? What's the most difficult element?
My one short answer is to balance unrealistic expectation with the quality of the proposal, and also try to face the struggle to reach the deadline, psychological side. So I want to answer to you to this question, not about it. I believe that if you have a strong research proposal and the consultant, it will be quite easy to apply for a Marie Curie. But all the untold sides, like psychological expectation, administrative bureaucracy, maybe this could be the toughest challenge.
All right.
And this is why you need time. Because I can talk only about Italian administrative office, but they are a lot of researcher to work with. So maybe if you ask a confirmation about budget, they could also take 2 weeks. And so you need this time. And so, these are the challenge that you could face. If you work with a consultant, really not because it's my work, but if you work alone and maybe it's your first European Commission application, it will be very hard and you risk to get very frustrated.
It's you need to balance this. If you're good in these kind of things, then you can give it a shot. But if it's the first time you do it, try to push your university or institute manager for a consultant. Just a little bit of support.
Maybe for our Italian listener, I can say that some university here in Italy has internal grants where you can secure money to pay an external consultant. So not only university, but maybe you can try to inform to your university if it's possible.
Thanks. Vital information. I think it goes across the continent that you have this across Europe. No, thanks. I'm just going to land the plane as always before we say goodbye to the listeners. So,
Okay.
dear listeners, I hope you, especially you researchers out there, research managers, I hope that you have that this has been nice, good, strong information for you. If you like what you've been listening to here, there is a lot of content on my platform. Go to thegrant.eu. There you'll find a lot of podcast episodes. I have more than 160 episodes now, and also a lot on research. So I have a specific, if you go to Podcast Universe on my site, you'll find a button called Campus, the Grant Campus. And this is where I have categorized all my content related to the research world. So you'll find actually there's quite a handful of episodes in there actually. So do that, and while you're at the platform, if you do have sympathy with what I'm doing here, don't hesitate subscribing to the podcast, the email list. This is how you help me as an independent podcaster to build my reach to in this community. So please, by all means, and thank you in advance for that subscription. Finally, do connect with me on LinkedIn. Do go and like my site, my page, The Grant. This is where you have all my information coming up. This is where the flow happens. This is where I like stuff. This is where I comment and share things. And this is also where I pick up guests. So do connect, and if you do want to be on the show, don't hesitate reaching out. More and more people have started actually to reaching out. They're less and less afraid of me. So they do start to more and more start to reach out, and I'm very happy because I if there's one thing I do like as an independent podcaster is to have different kind of content that covers different areas. So please, by all means, if you miss yourself some content, if you're a regular listener and you miss something, let me know, and then I'll deal with that. That was that.
Yes.
And Eli, I'm looking very much forward to the release of your episodes because I am a guest, and it's not so often I'm a guest in a podcast. So I'm looking forward to listening to that, and you can also look forward to that out there.
Yeah, thank you.
Eli, thanks for joining. Let's say goodbye to the dear listeners. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Grant. All the Grant episodes have their own site on the Grant website. You'll find the link in the episode notes with the podcast host where you listen to your podcast. On the site for this episode, you'll find a link to Ilaria's personal LinkedIn site and a link to the website of her company, Name Evolution. Further, there's a link to my timeline series with in-depth focus on proposal writing and a link to my site with episodes related to the MSCA. Next week, it's Shorts Week, where it is time to finalize the Communication Short series. You can look forward to that.